is an event that happens every season in the Velocity Online Racing Series, and it is time to crown ourselves another champion around the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway, corner of 16th and Georgetown. 300 miles about to be underway as qualifying has started for the Indy 300. It is round number 8 of the VOR IndyCar Series season. 120 laps, 300 miles. I'm the captain, Chris Scala, as we welcome you into the VOR channel here on YouTube and get you ready for another season at Indianapolis. Of course, this is a pretty big event and an event that has been dominated mostly by one person, and that one person being Alex Van de Sant. Alex is here tonight, and he is ready to go for a 4th win in a row in this series. And the number 4 is the big number right now when it comes to this series, because it is Alex Van de Sant that has dominated so far in the series, including the last 3 races. So tonight, he has a chance to win, wait for it, 4 in a row. Yes, you see Alex already with 4 wins this season, and he has won the last 3 events, but he still only has a very small lead over Nicholas Sudik. Dakota DeMay there third in points. Thomas Geisler, Julian Altena, your top 5 in the point standings. But the big news, of course, tonight, outside of this situation, of course, tonight is also they're in the middle running, if not going to finish up here in the next little bit, the running of the 12 Hours of Sebring, and, of course, on iRacing, the iRacing edition. And that has caused a little bit of a smaller field that we're going to see tonight in the race. But still should be exciting when it comes down to it. Should still see some great racing when it's all said and done. Here's the schedule. As we look at it tonight, it's Indianapolis. Then next week we go to the Milwaukee Mile. We'll take a week off and then head to the streets of Detroit, Nashville Superspeedway, and the Homestead Miami Speedway to wrap up the season on May the 7th. So just a little over a month away from the season being over with, and tonight's being round number 8 of this championship season as we get ready to crown a champion here in just a few weeks. So as I mentioned, qualifying is underway. Most of the cars have ran a lap, and surprisingly, the only one that I believe is racing tonight that has not ran a lap is Alex Van de Sant. So kind of some interesting news I'll have to check on here momentarily, but Shane Coogan is on the pole right now with a 39.52. Craig Forsyth there in second. Nicholas Sudik in third. Cohen Evans, Cameron Boston, your top 5 in the standings. Indianapolis, 2.5 miles. 4 corners, all of the same 90-degree diameter. However, it doesn't drive the same at all. Each corner has its own little tricks and gimmicks to it that you have to drive different. You look to the north end of the speedway there, turn 3 and turn 4. The Brickyard Crossing golf course there in the middle. The pagoda over there to the left. And as you look down this long front straightaway, 5/8 of a mile long. Longest pit road you'll see in all of iRacing when it comes to ovals. So it has all the makings here of an exciting event at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Got about 3.5 minutes to go. I think they're going through their meetings right now with the league admins. As a matter of fact, Alex Van de Sant is going out on track right now to run a qualifying lap. So let's go ahead and let's join him for this lap, as he'll get 2 laps to run here. Let's put the qualifying on the screen here. They do get 4 laps to run. Alex in the green right now. Let's see what he can do coming off turn 4. Down to the start-finish line, his first lap. And that's it. He's done, and he jumps to third with a 39.54. He's like, I only need 1 lap. We're good. And Sudik on track now. Ironically, him and Alex have the same time on track. That's kind of crazy. Nick going to complete his fourth and final lap right here in the 87 car. 30.53 with a 9, his best lap. So the top four separated by 1/100th of a second. As it looks like everybody now has run a lap. I say that, and look who's coming back out. Here comes Alex again. So he's still going to get a chance to run 2 laps here. I wonder if he did something on that last lap he didn't like, maybe an adjustment or something. It's a fixed setup, but something there he did not like, and he pretty much stopped his car, towed back to pit road, and here he goes. Let's take a lap around here. Let's ride on board with Mr. Van de Sant. Should go well over 230 miles an hour into turn 3 and 4 here. Right now tracking yellow. Tires do got to get up to temp here, so it might be a second lap here that he needs to get that speed out of this car. That lap, oh, he caught, oh, geez. He might have done that on purpose. All right, well, there went that. As some say, that escalated quickly. And he probably did that because qualifying is actually over right now. Officially going to grid. As there go the birds, as per usual. And the starting lineup here for the VOR Indy 300 looks like this. Shane Coogan on the pole, 39.52. He'll start next to Craig Forsyth. Alex Van de Sant, row number 2. He'll start next to Nick Sudik, his rival right now in the point standings. Cohen Evans, Cameron Boston. They'll take row number 3. Thomas Geisler and Sebastian Kinder on row number 4. Row 5, Lewis Woodall, James Watson. Zach Spritzer making his debut tonight in the series. Picked a pretty good track to make a debut out here. Here at the Speedway. Now you see the cars ready to take off.
Good one.
Everybody but Sudik is grid so far. Alex Rhodes watching tonight over here on the channel. Appreciate him joining us. And Sudik is grid, so now we should be ready to go here. And the cars will roll off for the one pace lap before they take the green flag. So Robert Sadler did take the grid, by the way, in the 888, so we will have 12 starters tonight. Packed house. Ready to rock and roll. See how the setup feels tonight. I know in the last couple of Indianapolis races I've broadcasted, it has been kind of hectic when it comes to the setup and almost a single file line a little bit with handling coming into play. But I have noticed different lines at Indianapolis working that you normally wouldn't see in real life. So that kind of makes this racing very interesting. So we'll see what we have in store for you this afternoon in VOR's edition of the greatest spectacle in e-racing. As pace car is going to bring Shane Coogan and Craig Forsyth off turn 4 in the 6th season of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series. It is the 6th running of the Indy 300 at the Speedway. Tonight, do we crown a different champion? Does Van de Sant go 4 in a row? We find out now as we're green at the Brickyard. Everybody clean and green down the back straightaway. You see the cars weaving, trying to get what track position they can early. Cameron Boston making a pass on Sebastian Kinder back there for 6th. Kinder not so much giving it up to him, though. And that actually helped him get the momentum off the corner. As Shane Coogan leads lap 1. Van de Sant trying to get second in the draft, and he does so. Our cameras tonight presented by Track Cams 4 Gourmet. As Sadler kisses the wall up there. Check them out online at Track Cams 4 Gourmet. Or, I'm sorry, TrackCams22.com. Also on the iRacing forums and, of course, on Facebook. Give us a chance to have the most realistic cameras you will see here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Back here, Sebastian Kinder, Cameron Boston, Lewis Woodall in a group of cars. Thomas Geisler up ahead. We ride with Sebastian into turn 3. Fifth gear right now as you hear the cars kind of working on the handling right now. Oh, there's the plow right there. Wow, very good distance back. And seeing a little bit of a tight condition there, so you got to work the bars a little bit. You got, of course, oh, one car spinning inside that is James Watson. Hits the inside wall, and his day is going to be done. No caution as he's in the back of the field. But James Watson, oh, he got the outside wall turn 1. Oh, and then the back end just snaps around right there. And he's going to hit the inside barrier. Promise you, he hit the inside barrier. As we stay green, Van de Sant starting to put pressure on Coogan here down the back straightaway. Check out our new guy tonight, Zach Spritzer, running tonight in the 10th position in the number 9 car. Zach, a friend of Sudik. Got him signed up in there. You see a pretty cool livery on that car. Zach trying to put pressure up on Lewis Woodall in the 9th position right now. We move up here. Cohen Evans, the LMC gear car. Running in front of Thomas Geisler, 2.6 seconds back. The field not really spreading out so much, which is impressive, but spread out enough to where the draft isn't playing too much of a role. But as you see, Alex Van de Sant kind of down to within 0.6 of a second of Shane Coogan, but ever since then, it's kind of shut down a little bit where he is at 0.6. Alex Van de Sant, some have said, could be the best actual open-wheel driver in all of iRacing, which is a pretty big statement to make. And I'll tell you what, this young man definitely works hard for it. And he doesn't, he goes about it the right way. I guess the right way I'm trying to word this. If you ever go and talk to him or race with him, he'll sit there and talk to you and compliment you and even give you advice and stuff. I know he's given me some advice driving these open wheel cars, and I appreciate what Alex has done. I've had a chance to run a couple of Le Mans races with him, and definitely a cool young man to talk to, and definitely loves his open wheel racing as he runs with his family company there, the Happy Trails Chili Mix sponsorship on that car, as he runs about 0.7 of a second back on the field. Nine laps in as Coogan continues to lead. Now, Alex does have a teammate right there behind him. He actually has two teammates in the field, all three of them in the top 5 right now. As Craig Forsyth, the outside starter on the front row, running in the 3rd position right now in the number 27 car. He looks back at Sudik there in the 87. Everybody just trying to get where they can get, trying to get the toe down the straightaway and try to get any kind of clean air on the nose that they can here. The downforce, a very big deal here. And if you can't get any air on that nose, obviously you can't get the car planted in the corner of the turn. And that gives you no chance to make a run on the car in front of you. You almost got to hope for some kind of mistake. You can hear how they got to get out of the gas through these corners. So one factor that could play a role in this race, 120 laps, you have to try to get to lap 30 to make it on fuel. And a lot of these cars, especially you look at Shane Coogan back there in the 20 or in the lead there in the 29 car. Right now, I highly doubt he can make the lap 30 because he is out there in the clean air and is burning up the most fuel right now in that car. So very doubtful he's going to be able to make it on fuel. As here comes Sudik. Gets a pretty good run on Forsyth here. He should be able to poke out inside. And Craig's going to probably hand him the position. He sure does. Sudik making the pass as he runs right there behind his counterpart in this championship, and that is the one car of Alex Van de Sande. Sudik's looking pretty sporty here. He's actually getting some momentum. He's able to drive away from Forsythe really quickly here, and you wonder if that 87, if he's kind of hit the mark a little bit on what kind of setup he's looking for. Of course, with the front bias and rear bias, the anti-roll bars are more of the terminology, but you got those and a weight jacker in this car. It's able to potentially help you have a loose setup or even a tight setup throughout the run of a race, and you can adjust it in the middle. Right with Nick. Already 16 laps in the books, or 15 laps in the books. Working on lap 16 right now. All but one car on track still. James Watson took his number 39 behind the wall with accident, with an accident over at turn 2. Right about there where it happened. Guys are starting to kind of bring it in a little bit. You see the lead has shrunk down under a half second. It was there for a second. Going to turn 1. Thomas Geisler back here in his 16. The German driver, of course, got his inaugural win in the series back at the Chicagoland Speedway last season. Come by and complete 18 laps, just about a sixth of the way into this race. Shane Coogan's led every lap so far. But again, you got to start setting up for the fuel now. You have to get to lap 30 if you want to make this a 4-stop race. One car blinking back there in the back. That's at 9, unfortunately, of Spreitzer making his debut. Everybody, it looks like about equal distance out from each other here. About 4/10 right now from Shane back to Alex Van de Sande, who's got about a half second or so back to Sudik. And Forsythe there about 8/10 or so back. Then Cohen Evans, his teammate. And another 4/10 back to Geisler It's got to be frustrating and probably pretty hard to trying to work this draft to get up there and get closer to the person ahead of you, but at the same time have to fight a car that gets kind of tight, and you hear him kind of getting out of the throttle there. A little understeer through the corner, and then you have to worry about the snap loose coming off the corner. As here we go, first pit stop's happening, and it's actually Lewis Woodall coming to pit road at lap 20. So this will automatically put Lewis on a 4-stop strategy. So I think Lewis is going to try an undercut here. I don't see any damage on the 13, so I think this is going to be a routine pit stop. Let's see. Right side tires. I'm used to stock cars. 4 tires and fuel all at once. And there he goes. Good stop, 9 seconds as Shane Coogan comes off turn 4 here. Let's see if he can get out of here and stay on the lead lap. He should. It's going to be close because here comes the leader. They'll draft off of him here probably. Lewis looks like was able to hold on, and he should be able to get run faster speeds out here in clean air. And the more he goes and the more these other cars stay on track, he should be able to jump some positions here in this race. So we'll have to keep track of that. Forsythe's getting a pretty, or I should say Evans getting a pretty good run on Forsythe. In a battle for the 4th position. Ryan Craig looking back at his teammate Cohen Evans. Just watching the telemetry a little bit to see how Lewis is doing. With the newer tires, he has only been able to gain about a second, and that's it on the field. The tire wear must not be a big deal. See, Cohen lost a little bit of time back there. Maybe got some dirty air. Car got a little tight on him. And now is when the handling really starts to kick in. Now the tires are pretty much done for, you would think. And Lewis is starting to kind of stretch it out. With Alex now as he looks up there at Shane, who has stretched it out to about 1.1 seconds. And Thomas Geisler as he starts to put pressure back here, or up here on Cohen Evans. In a battle for 5th now. Now I'm looking at lap times, and come to think about it here, as looks like Sadler back there is coming to pit road, but the times really haven't fallen off too much. About a tenth to 2/10 on the leaders. So I talk about tires maybe helping out Lewis Woodall. It probably not as big of an effect as I thought, the way it usually is. As the 888 comes to pit road. As he'll take off 11.9 seconds. Thomas Geisler to pit road, right at lap 30. So these will be the guys that'll be able to make it on 3 stops to the finish of this race. There you go, Thomas pulls away, 9.2 second stop. So as you see, you got to be about a certain distance ahead of the leader, or behind the leader, I should say, to stay ahead of the leader in this race when you come to pit road. And it looks like that distance is only about 5 seconds. So if you're Craig Forsyth or Sudik or Van Dissant, you 3 are probably safe to stay on the lead lap here coming to pit road. The rest of the field, not so much. And here comes the leader right now, Shane Coogan to pit road. Going to break Craig Forsyth with him. Sebastian Kinder to pit road. But the pole sitter comes in. And slow takeoff there. Must be a low gear in this first gear of this car. 9.9 for both drivers. 10.2 for Kinder. As now Sudik, Cohen Evans, Zach Spreitzer coming to pit road. .4 for Sudik, 9.6 for Evans, 10 seconds for Spreitzer as they roll out, and here comes Van Dissant all by himself to pit road along with Cameron Bostian. And that will bring everybody in for at least one pit stop here so far in this race, so it's been well defined now who is going to be able to go the distance. And for Alex, you almost wonder now, going 34 laps, he could almost shorten the rest of this race to 29 and go the rest of the way on fuel and probably go hard. Alex, 10.2 for him. And here comes the pack. Alex does lose the lead to Shane Coogan here, but he should be able to hold on to second pretty safely here. Now, I talked about the jump. Lewis Woodall, first car to pit road, he is up to 4th. So the undercut definitely worked. The man that pitted back from about the 8th position has jumped up 4 spots with that pit stop. So 34 laps complete. And we've made it through a cycle of pit stops here. Let's run you through the field here and see where everybody is as Shane Coogan leads, but he has got Van de Sande who's going up to his line. And I call it his line because Alex is the first one that pretty much ever showed me when it comes to a track like Auto Club Speedway that the top groove exists. As I mentioned, he can now go full tilt after going 34 laps. It was kind of a conservative drive there in that first run. Now Alex knows what he has. Oh, and caution's out. Lewis Woodall has spun over in turn 4. Just after giving him some praise of jumping up through the field there with a pit stop. The 13 has gone around in the first caution out at the Speedway on lap 37. That car's junk. Let's see what happens to the driver, the 13 here. Oh, he gets the outside wall there a little bit. Oh, no. Right in front of Geisler and others. An unfortunate deal and caution out for the first time. At the Speedway. Now the question is going to come down to, does anybody come in and just top off? Now, good news here in iRacing, as we see actually nobody come to pit road. So, good news on iRacing is the cautions are really quick at these bigger tracks. And because of that, we should see one to go next time by. Around the 2.5 mile Speedway. Of course, Shane Coogan has shown to be a pretty good oval racer in this series. Yeah, he's won multiple poles. Had some fantastic finishes in that Western Waves Media car. If he can keep that clean air, he has a shot here to win this VOR Indy 300. And Zach Spritzer coming to pit road here. I was wondering if anybody was going to try to go off strategy here, and it looks like the 9 will be the guy. So the pace car will come back in this time by. As always in IndyCar racing, you have a single lane restart, so you'll not see the double file that you might be used to seeing if you're an oval fan. If you're an open wheel fan, obviously you're plenty used to this kind. As Alex right on the back of Coogan here. Gonna try to time it off the 29 as the pace car will pull in. As here we go, Shane's on it. Up through the gears. It's going to be your chance to get whatever track position you can do off turn 2. Pretty spread out restart here. Van de Sande going back to work on that top groove. As unfortunately the field dwindles down now to 9 cars left in this race. Now you almost think that these cars should be able to go full trim, knowing that there's only 2 stops left in this race. Kinder trying to put pressure on Cohen Evans there. He's trying to get this top group to work. And of course, you try to do that so you can get some air on that nose. It helps you get the downforce perhaps behind the car there. And did Forsythe get the wall? It looked like he might have. As a 27 off the pace now. Oh yeah, that car's wounded. Let's see if we can find what happened to Forsythe here. You see him off the pace here, turn 2. I thought I saw a puff of smoke. And let's see if I'm right. Now turn 2. Oh, wow. That's a lot harder of a look I thought he had. We'll have to see if he has to come to pit road or not, but he has fallen back to the last. Oh, now he's out of control and spinning. And he's going to come to pit road. So the 27 unfortunately wounded here at lap number 45. as Alex Van de Sande continues to put pressure on Shane. This just shows you how tough it is to pass. I mean, no disrespect to Shane, but obviously Alex has ran all different types of Indy cars here at this track and stuff, not in real life, but on the sim. So you know he knows every trick in the book to get around you. And he can't even get up there to the back bumper. It just shows you how turbulent the area is around this track. Check on the Texas car of Cameron Boston here, the 86. As Craig Forsyth is joining back on track, he is 2 laps down in the 27 car. Alex trying to get a little bit closer. He wide with the 1 car. He's getting a draft up there. Look at it, it's down to a 10th. You just got to be so precise on the corners. I almost wonder if Shane maybe ought to try that lane just to shut his air off a little bit. Problem is, as soon as he does that, Alex is going to be on the bottom. I think he might have a run here. Here he comes outside. Took the lead on the back on the outside lane. As I said, he'll find a way around if he has to. So 49 laps in, and Van de Sande back to the front in Indianapolis, virtually here on iRacing. Your front 4 only separated by 2 seconds. Geisler running in the 4th position, 2.3 seconds back from Sudik. And now caution on track. Shane Coogan is in trouble along with, Sudik is in it. number 2 in the points, and the pole sitter just wrecked off turn 2. See if we can get a replay of what happened. Oh, Shane got the outside wall, turn 1, got tight there. He was just trying to get too much here, trying to stay with Alex and goes spinning right in front of Nick. Nowhere to go. And the man who's led the most laps so far in this race all of a sudden has had issues. Let's see what happens again here. He kisses the wall a little bit. And from there, the car is just done. That's when he gets Nick right there and into the wall. As here comes Alex to pit road with Geisler. Evans coming to pit road. It looks like a lot of the leaders coming in, except for Spritzer, who's going to stay out. So this could be a very interesting caution later on. And I say that because you're going to go green here with 64 laps to go, which means it's a one-stop race if you can go 32 on a tank. So this race in the first 55 laps, we'll say, has gone from a race where you got to conserve to save a little fuel to go full out, back to conserving. So you see other cars coming back to pit road, just topping off the tank, which could be interesting now for Kinder and for Spritzer and even Alex Van de Sant, who's going to restart in a 6th position. For Alex, he is definitely going to have to be very patient with these cars. right, pace car is going to pull in. The German driver, Thomas Geisler, leading this race. Cohen Evans, Cameron Boston, Sebastian Kinder, and Spritzer, your top 5. Great restart for Geisler. Now the strategy begins as here comes Alex. Already jumped up to 5th. Now he's going to take 4th away. Here goes the high line to work. Going to take 3rd away. If you're in the field here, I'm taking notes and like trying that line out myself. You see Sebastian's trying to move on the 9 car to the outside. He goes. It's working. Go for it. Questions if you're in the top, if you're, the car in front, how do you defend it? You kind of can't. Because you go to the top, you're all of a sudden opening the bottom up. So Geisler, Evans, and Van de Sant now your top 3. As we hit the halfway point this time by 150 miles out of the 300 complete in this race. Appreciate all the viewers watching tonight here on the VOR channel. Should mention Shane Coogan has gotten back on track. So is Sudik. They are 4 and 5 laps down respectively after those hard hits. So you see Kinder, they're trying to get a run up there on Cameron Boston. Alex Van de Sant's kind of stalled out here, 3rd position right now. It's kind of like where it's turned into, the restart, get everything you can, and then after that, it's simply kind of hold your position steady and just try to get what you can get out of the car. Kinder putting pressure back here on camera, and Sebastian just a little bit ago put that run on the 9, and now he's going to put pressure on the 86. "64 laps in. Thomas Geisler 1.1 seconds over Cohen Evans, who's got about a second over Alex Van de Sande, who's got 4.5. Now over Cameron Boston. The front three have just driven away from the field. Oh, how everything has changed. Remember in the start of the race, everybody was in a pack of about, what, a 5-second separation from first to last. Now all of a sudden, you've got a big gap between cars, and that's more, I think, the fuel saving that is going on now with these cars. I would think none of these cars are really going full tilt at all. Of course, next week, the Milwaukee Mile is the race on the schedule. You want to talk about a track that is so much fun to race at in an open wheel car. It's one of the few ovals I've had a chance to race in this car. And not only that, but also in one of the PM2000s and other cars around that track. And it's such a fun track to get around. You get the track opening up. You can use the bottom, the middle, and it's a flat 1 mile oval. Cannot wait for that next Saturday night. There's Cohen Evans, second position. How much fuel are these guys saving? Unfortunately, we cannot, with the way iRacing settings are, see the telemetry on the car, so I have no clue what fuel mixture Cohen's running or what even Alex or even Thomas are running. The only thing I can see on the wheel is his lap times, the gear he's in, and what position. .4 seconds, the separation between Geisler and Evans. 2.5 back to Van de Sande. And then it is all of 10.5 seconds. So Cameron Boston there in a fourth position. Let's, we do have the telemetry to show this to you. That, of course, is the laps that everybody is pitted on. You see, most everybody have pitted on lap 54 or 55. Craig Forsyth at 44. That was because he was involved in the caution at that time. That's why he's a lap down right now. But the top 6 cars that are on the lead lap You do the math from there. Of course, 54 or 55 and 30 gets you to 84 to 85, and then from there to 115. So you got to find a way to save 2 to 3 laps in this run. And then if you save 2 laps on this run, you need to go save 3 on the next. If you're able to save 3 on this run, you only got to save 2. So the fuel definitely playing a role now in this race. And Sudik back on pit road. And I wonder if his night might be officially over for the 87 car. So yeah, look at Cameron running 6th gear around this track right now. So he is in ultimate save mode right now. Very interesting to listen to that 86 run 6th gear all the way around this track. That's why you look at the lap times right now. He is almost a full second off the pace from Geisler and Evans and Van de Sande here. And it sounds like he's not the only one running those gears right now. These other two. Now you see Kinder's actually still in 5th gear here, so. So 75 laps complete this time by. Leaders over in the back straightaway, heading for the north end of the speedway. And you see Thomas starting to stretch it out a little bit. You wonder if Alex maybe now is going into a fuel save mode. So is Cohen Evans. You know, another strategy you might be able to try to do here is what if you put the car in full tilt and go get as big of a lead as possible during the next, 45 laps. And when you have to make that last pit stop, you come in and splash with a couple of laps to go and maybe get out in front if you have a big enough lead. Of course, to do that, you're going to need about a full lap lead, but yeah, you never know. As Coogan lets Geisler go on by. Forsyth making a pit stop for the 7th position. Fourth, fifth, and sixth position still. Running laps about 42.06, 42.33, and a 42.26 the last time by for Boston, Kinder, and Spritzer. So you got these guys running 42s, and then you got the front three running 41s. Actually, I say that as Cohen Evans ran a 42 last time by, and he's going to use the 29 of Coogan to save some fuel here. So, well, we've got the ultimate fuel race here in Indy now. If only I knew who was running what mixtures. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Boston is not running a top mixture because his car, being in 6th gear, is saving potentially max fuel without being in mode 8. And if you went to that mode, you'd blow your motor up. So Geisler leads Cohen Evans, Van de Sant, Boston, Kinder, Spritzer. Those 6 cars left on the lead lap. Everybody else has had trouble in this race as we pass the 200-mile mark. 40 laps to go. In Indianapolis. So the lap we're looking for probably right now is lap 87. If you can get to 87 or 88, 5 more laps, you're looking at the lap to potentially get you to the finish of this race and potentially make you a winner here at Indianapolis. As I mentioned, it's been the Van de Sant show the last 3 years. But Thomas Geisler, Cohen Evans might have something to say about it. There's Cohen Evans. Last time by 41.28. He did finally go past Shane Coogan as he was trying to save some fuel out there tonight. And here comes Geisler to pit road, lap 84. So I think you are seeing Geisler run the exact strategy I'm thinking, but unfortunately he is going to need to probably go full out here and get what he can get. So that gives the lead to Cohen Evans, Alex Van de Sant, two of the LMC Gear teams. Drivers as Geisler leaves with a 10.2, and he will stay on the lead lap. And now Cohen Evans is on pit road at lap 85, so, This could fall into a Sebastian Kinder if Van de Sant can't make it all the way. This is interesting. So Cohen Evans ends up about 5 seconds behind Geisler now after that pit stop. Here's the question. When does Alex get to pit road? Now earlier, I believe he ran a 34-lap run. And here he is now coming to 33 laps to go. So what do you know? A fuel race might just run right into Alex Van de Sant's hands. I would assume we're going to see him on pit road this time. All right, Boston on pit road now. So is Kinder. Still are yet to see Sebastian Spritzer, or Zach Spritzer, I should say, on pit road. Yeah, mixed two names in one. And here comes Alex now. Want to make sure you hit your marks at the right place. More tires and fuel, and there goes Alex off pit road. All right, so Alex is going to get in line in the third position after a 10.2 second stop as Spritzer's on pit road, and I think he's sped because his pit stop's going for a very long time right now. So if he had any chance to steal second away in this race, it might have just went bye-bye. Geisler going to cross the line, 30 laps to go. Cohen Evans, Van de Sant, Cameron Boston, and now Sebastian Kinder. The only 5 cars left on the lead lap as the 9 car back on track. However, he is now a lap and a half down in this race. So now officially 5 cars in the running. And I think the 3 to watch here are going to be Alex Van de Sant, Cameron Boston, and Sebastian Kinder. We're trying to win this Indianapolis 300 here virtually on the VOR Racing Channel with the Captain Esports Network. Appreciate everybody watching tonight. as we have 29 laps to go. You see the lead right there, 3.7 seconds, and then right behind Cohen is Alex Van de Sant, about 4.4 seconds here behind the lead. Alex about tagging that wall on the outside. And there's Cameron Boston back there, fourth position for him, as Cameron is about 26 seconds off of Alex Van de Sant. But as I mentioned, these guys here did their fuel save, and now pretty close to making it all the way on fuel. Cohen Evans, Alex Van de Sant. Cameron Boston. So if you're Geisler or you're Cohen Evans, you know it's very unlikely you get to the finish of this race on fuel. Do you consider short pitting? Say around lap 100 to 105. Obviously, you do not have a big enough lead to win this race on an extra stop. So, the question then comes to, you get tires and fuel really quickly, you get out of here, and you try to go catch the 17 or the one car. Of course, chances of that are pretty slim. But unfortunately, without a yellow, you're in a box right now if you're these two cars. Unless they find a way to do 35 laps on a tank of fuel, which would be really impressive. As you see, Cohen and Alex are bringing in Thomas really quickly. Now, as I look at the lap times here, 41.54 for Geisler, a 38 last time by. Let's see what that changes to. Actually, a 47 now for Geisler, 43 for Cohen, a 27 for Alex. As Cohen tries to work in the 16 car here, 23 laps to go. 1.8 seconds of separation, as you see, from Cohen up to the 16 car. Geisler looking for his second career win in this series and looking for his first Indy 300 win here in VOR. Again, so many factors got to happen here, though. For this to work out. As there you see the numbers. That 88 number by Van de Sant's pretty big right now. Cohen Evans 1.8 seconds back. And there's Alex Van de Sant looking for number 4. Let's check back here on the other two. Battling here in the top 5. And they're still saving fuel out here. Cameron Boston in the 86 car, and then the 97 of Sebastian Kinder. Running 4th and 5th in this race, and there's Spritzer right there in 6th, who had the speeding penalty. And as you see, lost a whole lap and a half in that situation. Craig Forsyth in the 7th spot right now. He is still out on track logging laps. There's Shane Coogan, the pole sitter, led the first 40 laps of this race or so, and unfortunately it all fell apart for him on an accident in turn 1 and 2. And that accident took Sudik out, who's off the track. In 9th, Lewis Woodall, Robert Sadler, who started the race, actually adminning, I believe, this race. And James Watson, who wrecked on lap number 3 of this race. $17 to go. So Cohen was able to bring in the 16 for a little bit on that run before the pit stop. And ever since then, as you see now, the cars that were saving fuel is who you see Geisler coming up on. So once they catch these 2 cars, it'll be 3 cars on the lead lap. .6 seconds now. You wonder, as Sebastian turned the wicker up a little bit here to try to keep Geisler behind him, or is he going to go ahead and let him go? He's going to let him go. So there goes the 97 a lap down. So 4 on the lead lap now. It's like that hard balance to try to figure out. Do you save fuel, or do you battle to try to stay on the lead lap in case something were to happen? As Forsythe comes to pit road here at lap 105. Geisler holding steady, 2.2 seconds right now. Only a couple cautions in the race. It has turned this race upside down into a fuel strategy race, which I expected from the beginning, but I didn't expect there to be a middle run where it seemed like fuel didn't matter anymore. But it went right back to a fuel mileage race right after the second caution. We only had two. But needless to say, it's going to come down to fuel. All right, Cohen Evans coming to pit road, 11 laps to go. Let the cycle begin of cars that cannot make it to the finish. Cohen, fuel only, there he goes. And now Thomas Geisler to pit road. And he's actually got tires on his car, I believe. There it goes. So let's see where Cohen Evans comes out here compared to Geisler. Cohen crossing the start-finish line right now. Saw a quick glimpse of the 17. And now coming out of turn 2, can Geisler get it up to speed? I think he's going to be okay. So with that in mind, look who is back in the front. I've been trying to, for a little bit of the race here tonight, thought to myself, all right, if Alex gets out here in front and with the strategy going on, I'm like, he's obviously going to be leading here late in this race. If he can win his 4th straight Indy 300 here for VOR, it's like, what kind of nickname can I pull up for him? I had to think about this one a little bit. And I'm like, do we call him maybe the Circle City Crusher? Thought of that maybe, because Indianapolis being the Circle City. I mean, that's like the big one that's come to my head so far. You know, call him Mr. Indy maybe? 7 laps to go. one thing, he definitely puts his heart out there every time he races in an open wheel car. And I tell you what, he's not a bad stock car driver either. You get him out there in an A fixed or something like that. I've raced against him. He can definitely drive one of those cars too. But this is where his main talent is, and he'll get out there on a road course. He'll run a Le Mans race, a Nürburgring, or a Sebring race like today. And he'll go out there and make it look easy. Five laps to go. Geisler, 27 seconds back right now. Running time is about 3/4 of a second faster. Cohen Evans right there with him, about 1.2 seconds back. Obviously, Cameron and Sebastian too far back to get to the top three unless something happens here, as they tried to save fuel also in this race. As they come off turn 4, 4 laps to go. Now it's just simply qualifying laps for the one car. 3 laps to go. They come off turn 4. It'll be 2 laps to go. Let's go back here to Geisler and Evans. As unfortunately they're left to settle second, and it's about a second, almost 2 seconds distance between those two drivers. As Alex comes out of turn 3 and into turn 4. I felt like I was in this spot just a couple months ago, and I talked about that drivers could never win 3 in a row at Indianapolis, especially in the 500. And I talked about how big of a deal it would be, even though it's on a sim, to win 3 of these in a row. Now we're literally 2.5 miles from 4 in a row. Here in the last few weeks, yes, I understand the fields are a little bit smaller now. But Alex has just come out here each and every week and put a whooping on the field. I said earlier the key number was 4. It'll be his 4th straight series win. It'll be his 5th win of season 6. And Mr. Circle City himself just won his 4th straight Indy 300. Thomas Geisler, unfortunately, going to come up a little short, led a lot of laps tonight, but second place it'll be for him. And to round out the podium, it will be Cohen Evans, so 2 of the top 3 to the LMC Gear team. And I think Sebastian Kinder's wrecked, unfortunately. Alex gonna likely lay down some burnouts here on the bricks. Or actually, they might set up a photo here. So let's take. Oh, actually, wow, he just went to the bricks and decided to tow in. So he's done his celebrating here plenty of times. As there's your final results, as Van de Sant wins it. Thomas Geisler, Cohen Evans, Cameron Boston, and Sebastian Kinder, your top 5. Zach Spritzer finishes 6th. Craig Forsyth, Shane Coogan, Nick Sudik, Lewis Woodall, Robert Sadler, and James Watson, your 12 racers tonight in this VOR Indy 300. The 6th running of this race. Here tonight, and we'll hopefully get the other 2 drivers in, and we'll chat with them here in just a second. And we'll start with our 3rd place finisher here tonight, Cohen Evans. Cohen, congratulations, top 3 finish. Obviously, it was a pretty tough race out there, hard to pass, as it seems like. Cohen, nice job tonight. I just realized you weren't hearing me. It was hard to pass out there tonight, it looked like. Tough race out there, and you had to work some strategy, and unfortunately just wasn't able to work out fuel mileage-wise, but still able to get a top 3 out of it.
Yep, sure did. I don't know. That last stint, I was trying to save fuel as much as I could, but also keep up. But I couldn't do both at the same time, so I was just trying to keep up with the pace and just hope whenever I came in for the splash, it come back out, and worked out that way.
You mean to tell me your teammate won't give you any fuel advice?
I don't know, man. He does some like magic stuff to make those fuel numbers. I don't know how he does it.
Well, still, it's a great effort for you tonight, Cohen. I know it's one that you want to win here, but unfortunately a little bit short again tonight. Jen, shout out to whoever you like to, buddy.
Oh, shout out to Alex, my teammates, everyone, family, all them good people.
Sounds good, man. Well, hey, go enjoy yourself. Be safe, and maybe we'll see you next week in Milwaukee.
Yep.
All right, buddy. Cohen Evans finishing in the 3rd position tonight. We'll see if we get a word from our 2nd place finisher, Thomas Geisler. But here we sit again up in Victory Lane, Indianapolis. Alex, it has become a tradition, I think, of ours that you and I get to talk here. But tonight it was a little bit different as you had to go save fuel in the race. How big was that not the last stop, but the stop under caution? You decided to come back in and top off the fuel.
That wasn't really planned. iRacing just didn't give me fuel the first time in. I don't know why. I must have unchecked it by accident. So, it happened. So I just came back through. That does help the fuel number very, very slightly, like going in and topping off with 1 to go. But in the end, I don't think it really mattered. So just had to, really floor it to get around some of the other guys and get up to Thomas and Cohen, because I knew they might try for it as well. So as long as I was close to them, then I'd be in good shape. And it just worked out.
And you went to the high side there. I was watching throughout the race. I'm like, all right, Alex is going to go up there sometime here because he's Mr. Topside. And it just seemed like you just took bits and pieces of it and finally got that run. He got to the lead, but then that helped you on the restart because you went from like 6th to 4th, topside Rossi style, to help you get up there.
Yeah, definitely. The set is just so hard. I don't know what it is, but it really sucks in traffic. So, like a lot of people were struggling after the first lap. You couldn't do much after that. And you just had to kind of wait until the middle stint. If like the guy, I think when I passed Shane, he was probably trying to save the 2 laps extra fuel he needed. Right. But just had to go for it. you couldn't, like, the high side didn't really work until you were like actually trying to make a move, and then you had to be up there for like 2 or 3 laps, and then once you did get around them, your right rear was just screaming. So you had to like really like calm down the car and take another few laps to like get settled again.
Right.
So it was just really tough. Yeah.
So the pit stop, you made your first one at 34, and that set up almost a race for you where you could go full tilt the rest of the way to the finish. I mean, I guess that the thought in my head is, how difficult is it to go from a race where it seems like that first run you're saving fuel, and then you start the second run, you're full tilt, and then a caution comes out and you're like, now you got to flip your mind back to the fuel save.
Yeah, well, so the first caution, it made it not a fuel save rate. No, we didn't pit on it in the first caution. That did help Shane, though, and it would have helped Nick to save like that extra lap that they would have needed. I think Shane needed 2, so he still had a little bit, as I said. But yeah, I was ready at that point, because when I pit with like 33, like I did 33 laps, and then that would set me up so I could just do 29 lap stints to the end, and that's like the max that you get in clean air. So like I was ready at that point to just go like full send, and then we got that last caution. It's like, oh well, yeah, back to fuel save. And I had like just taken the lead, so it's like, okay, well, I need to get Thomas to pass me like at some point, but then I screwed up the pit stops anyway, so it didn't matter.
Well, it worked out for you, man. An obvious question here. I mean, real life, nobody's done the 3 in a row, and I asked you this last time, and now you're at 4 in a row. And yes, we had a little bit of a smaller field, but we're still not going to take away the fact you went out here and won this race yet again.
Yeah, really happy about it. Wish we could get more people out here, but yeah, just really glad to get another 4th. I'll take any win I can get.
There you go, man. Well, great job tonight, and shout out to whoever you like to, buddy.
Yeah, as always, big thanks to 40 racing gloves and boots. So Jim's doing a great job with setting up that, and then as well as Happy Trails Chili Company.
There you go, my man. Well, great job tonight with the 4D team, or LMC Gear team, which I know it's switching over to 4D as we speak here. But great job tonight. Congratulations, and go celebrate another one, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
You too, buddy. Alex Van de Sam, winner tonight of the Indy 300. I've said it 4 straight times. I can't believe that. That's kind of weird to me. But great job to everybody who raced tonight. I know it wasn't an easy one, but they definitely made it through. And to the viewers, I hope I didn't ramble too much in the race this evening. So with that said, we're out. We're going to go north and west to Milwaukee next Saturday at 8:45 or 7:45 Eastern Time, which I learned tonight actually changed to 8:45. So I believe it's going to be 8:45 next week. That will be on the air from the Milwaukee Mile in race number 9 of the season from the West Elias, Wisconsin area. I believe it's how that town is pronounced. So it should be a lot of fun there. Looking forward to it, and always remember that this isn't just a game, it's iRacing. See ya!